What up, guys? Today I put together some stats. I've reviewed the past 2 months of recorded clips. Unfortunately, the OnTap GG tracker doesn't work on my phone. It doesn't work when I play on the big screen with my buddy. It's only when I sit down to record clips or I'm doing something else on my computer that it records my stats. I hate it. I wish there was actual stat keeping in the game so that we could all review stats and understand how to play the best of one meta even better. Recently, I crafted a deck that it was kind of jank. I just wanted to try it out just for fun. I was curious what sort of matchmaking it would put me into, being as I'm leaning towards a more anti-combo deck. I was sort of hoping it would put me in that pool. I'm going to be honest, I don't understand how the matchmaking is done, and that's why I compiled these stats. The first thing to look at is my June-July Reanimator play session stats. Okay, so just looking at the stats at a high level, we can see I played 48 matches, 24 of those matches I was in the play. That's 50%. Holy cow, that's the first time I've ever noticed my stats being equal to being on the play versus being on the draw. Very cool. But you'll also notice my win rate's at 75%. So when it is even, maybe I can eke out a 75% win rate. 3 of the 48 matches I've played versus Graveyard Hate, so that's 8%. 7 of the 48 matches I played versus Delver, so that's 15. That actually makes sense. And then 6 out of the 48 matches I played versus Reanimator, so that also makes sense. Those are probably the 2 best decks in the format. But yeah, let's look at the play sessions here. You can see the first play session here, 4 Delvers, 1 Reanimator. You can see this one here, the next play session, 2 Delvers, 2 Reanimators, and Graveyard Hate. The next play session, 3 unknown decks. I comboed out too fast. I couldn't figure out what they were. 1 Surgical, 1 Reanimator, 1 Delver. And then we've got 1 Delver, 1 unknown, or I'm sorry, 1 Reanimator, 1 unknown, and then a Reanimator and a Graveyard Hate. So that's kind of how that play session went. So let's change gears and look at my Bird Reanimator list now. So this Bird Reanimator list is running Graveyard Hate. So looking at the results here, it's running Dark Ritual and Graveyard Hate. So 9 out of the 28 matches I played, I was on the play. So that's a 32% chance to be on the play. Pretty horrid, right? Pretty bad. So then I've got 12 of those 28 matches in addition to never being on the play. In almost half of the matches, 43%, I had to play versus Graveyard Hate that they found. So that tells me that the algorithm is leaning towards pairing people who have main deck Graveyard Hate against each other. Whether or not that's healthy for the format, I can't say. It seems like if you try to build Graveyard Hate to play against a meta that uses Treasure Cruise and Reanimator, they're going to pair you against other people who have the same idea. They're going to pair you against other people who hate on graveyards because you're hating on graveyards. Unfortunately, this is a graveyard deck. We're a Reanimator deck, so we use the graveyard in addition to hating on the graveyard. That was the whole idea around the deck. I thought it was going to be a great strategy. I thought it would crush the meta because as we look, it has a good matchup versus Delver, which is 15% of the meta, and it has a great matchup versus Reanimator, which is 13% of the meta. And meanwhile, it's only supposed to be an 8% graveyard hate meta. But I mean, looking at these stats, you wouldn't believe that. It only played versus Delver 1 out of 28 matches, so that's a 4%, way down. And then it played against Reanimator 14%, so that's more expected. I mean, to me, I think it's undeniable. Based on this data set alone and the huge amount of Graveyard Hate that I played against, I can only conclude that if you run main deck Graveyard Hate, the algorithm will just pair you against other people who are doing the same thing. Plan your best of one decks accordingly, I guess. Looking at my Dimir Stifle deck, so now we're going to look at my latest play session here. It's a small sample size, I admit, but it was super discouraging to play it. So I played 5 matches, and in 4 of those matches, I was on the draw. In 4 of those matches, I played versus Delver, and in 0 of the matches, I played versus Reanimator. We're running Dark Ritual and Stifle, so I guess the algorithm decided we shouldn't be on the play. So after reviewing all the stats, we had 81 games played. We were on the play 34 of them. That's a 42% chance to be on the play. Super low. Or is it by design? I have a theory, okay? I have a theory that if you run Dark Ritual, you have a lesser chance to be on the play. And we can sort of see that in the stats here. So of course, this could just be an unlucky data set. However, it also gives me the thought I'm running a Delver style deck, so it pairs me against Delver nearly exclusively. I'm running Dark Ritual. Delver typically doesn't run Dark Ritual, so when I'm playing these other Delver decks and the game does their checks to see who gets to go first, it sees that I have Dark Ritual, and it goes, okay, he shouldn't get to go first on some sort of scale. Maybe that's a bit of a stretch, but I've done analysis on Dark Ritual before. If you're curious about that one, you can check it out in the video here. I think I'm going to wrap this stat section review up with this. Bottom line, OnTap GG, Magic the Gathering, they don't provide enough stats to review these things in a robust sort of way. It would be great if we had this data readily available, but I spent hours going through this data and then compiling these tables just so we could observe them. But yeah, if you want to see a bunch of people misplay so that I can win games, basically that's the only way this dimmer stifle deck can win, stick around. What's up, guys? I did something really stupid today. I spent a bunch of wild cards. We have 7 left. We spent 4 of them on Opposition Agent. Why? Well, because with Dark Ritual, Opposition Agent becomes a super stifle. Okay? Dark Ritual Baragwayf is a thing. Dark Ritual Treasure Cruise is a thing. Dark Ritual Hardcast Force of Will with 3 mana is a thing. Is the deck good? Probably not. Alright, they go first again. This hand absolutely blows. Holy crap. What are they? Energy? Delver again? Probably just Delver. Thoughtseize, the Miracle top deck. What do we think? Bowmasters, Psychic Frog. I mean, I don't know how I beat this deck is the problem. I just don't know how we beat this deck. I guess we let him play Frog and we daze it. The biggest issue is I can't play, right? Every matchup is Delver tempo. Every single matchup. Every matchup, they go first. How do you guys play this game? How did I used to play this game? Holy shit, I hate this game so much. So we stifle their thing. Wow, they don't crack it to surveil? Stupid. Go ahead, pay it. Go ahead, force it. Wow. A fetch land. It's basically mana ramp. Ooh, Dark Ritual's certainly mana ramp. Okay. In case he drew the days, right? One. Two. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Take it all. This way I can hard cast Opposition Agent or Barragoyf. It's like it's a Opposition Agent kind of top deck. Ew. Foxy's is probably just better. Ooh, he did have the days. Ooh. Oh, we should run Dolaris. No, 2 or less we can't. So we have the Brainstorm here. Take Tameo. Put both back. Both these back.
Perhaps there are more useful texts down on the surface.
Just in case he has Stifle, you know. Okay, so we got through his Fatal Push. This is how we rebuild. If he finds a land, though, it's over. I mean, that's over too, right? Yeah, he has us all along. Winning was never an option. Ooh, do it in response to something? Flash speed? Yeah, we can't even attack here. I think we kind of have to, though. What? I'm not actually going to block here. Thought maybe he'd discard cards. I can actually stifle the card draw here. Ooh, I just resolved all. That's not going to let me have the option here. So dumb. Ooh, strip mine. Deathrite Shaman. Jesus. I guess I stifle it. Ooh, if he dazes, that would be so good for me. Actually, I should probably just daze it myself. I can bounce that one. Yes! Another opposition agent, what the fuck? Another stifle, let's go. Ooh. That's huge. So he has 3, 4, 5, but he doesn't have access to black. Maybe I should have... Yeah, so I took that black. This will let me block him. Opposition agent lets me go for the kill, though. And I have Stifle open. Oh, I should have played that so I could play Stifle. So he doesn't have mana to heal unless he taps both of his death rights. He's going to add 1 mana. Okay. Blue. Cast Brainstorm. Okay. Gets a card draw off. So I don't think this is going to be enough. Alright, so I'm just going to play a blocker, and then I'll stifle his Deathrite activation, and I think I win. Okay, take the land here. I don't know. Alright, we go for first. Double Force of Will, Thoughtseize Treasure Cruise, Strip Mine. I like that. See what we're up against. Dragon Rage, Hyperoponics. I don't actually have any removal, so this is kind of annoying. Might need to force this Dragon Rage. Question is do we use Treasure Cruise or Force of Will? Probably Force of Will. God, I wish we had Stifle. Yeah, we're not anywhere near Treasure Cruise. Seriously? Shields down. This is crazy. Another Delver match. Best of one is just match rigging at its finest. Literally, I make an anti-Delver list, and it pairs me against Delver exactly 0 times in like 40 matches. And then I switch to basically a Delver clone, and it just pairs me into only Delvers. Like, what are we even doing here? Oh my god. Insane. Another land. Great. Alright, well... we saw 4 cards and, what, 6 lands there? And they got to turn 3 Treasure Cruise off? Whatever. Two drop. Yeah. Guess we take Super Shredder. And we'll just try to keep them off of lands. Stifles obviously don't work on this guy. It's super cool. The rituals are burning a heavy hole in my hand. Really need to find a Treasure Cruise to make use of these dark rituals. I mean, or any of the other cards that combo with Dark Ritual. We have 8 of them. The deck is a fucking masterpiece, but it's not going to play versus what it's good against for some reason. We're just going to be seeing Delver clones all day and basic land decks. In best of one, at least. That's huge. Ginormous. See if we can figure it out this time. Alright, so we've got 3, 5. This would be our 1 blue source here. We totally cast this with 1 black mana floating. And hopefully we see opposition agent here to deal with this Grim Tutor. Yeah, let's close out the clip. This is just a taste, okay?